we are going to get you starting to think about getting outside running. Yes, you can do it. Brent Bishop says so. Come on in here. I thought I would train a little bit with you. You know, let's just set the scene now, because some people think running and they say, you know what, no, I'm not going to do it. But think about it in a different way. There's so many charitable runs out there that you can take part in. You love these. You do them for charity all the time. I love them. You know,
if you do something for a charity that you believe in, I mean, the chances of you committing to it and actually getting great results from it are far greater too, right?
Now, I've done a lot of charity runs in my time. It's been a couple of years. I've taken a couple of years off, but I've done runs in Calgary.
This year you should do one.
I know. Maybe this year I'll get back in there. I've done runs in Calgary. I've done the Sporting Life 10K. You were there for that one as well, which is a lot of fun. Women's runs, if you're feeling like you want to be around just your own gender, you can do that too if it's more comfortable. But there's a real feeling of accomplishment when you hit that finish line.
You know what? It's an experience, and nobody can take that away from you, right?
Yeah.
When you cross the finish line, there's tons of support. Everybody's cheering, and a lot of them you get a medal, regardless of, you know, you walked it or whatever. And I don't know, it's exciting. And
you know what? Some of them I've heard like give out good jewelry. There was a run last year or 2 years ago. They gave out Tiffany's bracelets. I was like, why was I not there? How could I have missed this run?
Okay, that's serious.
But then also very good for the body. So the sorts of things you need to think about though are what to do before and after, because you do not want to get injured, because then your running days are over.
For sure. Listen, I've experienced almost every running injury because I just run, and I used to just do it chaotically without, you know, really preparing properly. I told you about that Costa Rica race where I, you know, nearly killed myself.
Extreme racing, so he's racing through jungles and all of this stuff for a really good cause.
For really good causes, and you know what, you get great results, and this is why I like events, no matter how big or small, because you know you're losing the weight, you're getting fitter, you know your confidence is going up, and then you get that big end result of accomplishing it, right? But springtime is the highest level of injuries that I see with my studios. We get a lot of runners that come in, and whether you're a beginner or an avid runner, there are things you need to know.
First of all, warm up.
Warm up.
Don't just get up and start running.
One of the simplest things, honestly, I say to people is just lunge before you run. Okay. So just doing a standard walking lunge where you're just walking through it. Okay, maybe 10 per side or 15 per side. You're going to engage all the large musculature of your leg. You're going to get your glutes, hamstrings, quads warmed up. The tissues will be more pliable. You're not going to run on tight muscles, and that's key. You know, and you prevent your chance of injury that way.
You're saying you need to have proper progression as well. So what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we spend the winter hibernating or running on treadmills, and all of a sudden you hit the impact of that pavement. And you know, if you're doing 5K on the treadmill, you do 5K on the pavement, it's a lot different.
It's a lot
So I say dial back a couple of kilometers, right? At least for a couple of weeks, or even interject a little bit of walking. Every couple kilometers, a little bit of walking and stretching out.
There's nothing wrong with that. You're even advising me, listen, I haven't done a street running in a long time. Maybe I should be doing that too, and I think it's really good advice. Strength training, which I love.
Strength training is key.
Let's talk about that.
I see so many runners, and all they do is run, and guess what? Muscular imbalances and all these issues that we're going to talk about. So, you know, your glutes and core, for instance, stabilize your pelvis. They stabilize what happens with your leg. If they're strong, then you're going to prevent a lot of issues with your knees and ankles, right? But if they're weak, you're going to have, you know, a lot of muscles that are overused and some that are not firing properly, and you're going to end up with issues.
Take care of those knees, man.
Absolutely.
Okay, and let's talk a little bit about prehab. So rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation, as opposed to thinking about as, you know, oh, I'm going to get in an injury and then treat it, get an injury and then treat it. Let's just reverse that and think about how can we prehabilitate? What can we do to prevent that injury from even happening in the first place? And that's key.
That's such a good way to think. So we're going to do a few exercises.
Get into it.
That you can do. You're saying you can do this before the run, after the run?
Yeah, you can implement these things within your strength training session. It doesn't even have to be on a run day, but the point is just to do them consistently. So I'm going to get you to step into this with your left leg. I'm going to put it right around the top of the knee. So you can lock this, or, you know, wrap it around a banister at home or a piece of equipment. The idea here, you want to be in a static lunge position. I'm going to get Tracy to drop into that lunge as deep as she can. I'm pulling her knee this way, as you can see, right? Off balance. And then just come up and down out of that position without locking that knee out. You want to stay tracking over top of that ankle the whole time.
And
do you feel that glute firing?
I feel it.
So the more tension here.
Like, pow, pow, pow.
Exactly. So you got to counteract that.
And I don't want the knee to go over my toe, right?
No. Yeah, weight in the heel always.
All right.
And posture looks great, core is tight. Again, these are prime stabilizing muscles, and they're going to help you with the impact.
If you actually do this on TV, your core will always be tight.
Yeah, let's see how much you can hold.
Okay, so that's one.
That's one. And again, you know, issues with what can happen if your glutes are weak, you can end up with things like patellofemoral pain syndrome, which is like pain underneath your kneecap.
Yeah.
Things like patellar tendonitis as well. So
yes.
it helps avoid that because it takes a lot of the impact there.
There was a moment when I was with my trainer, and I was like, why are you obsessed with my glutes? And there's a reason why.
There's a reason for it.
They are holding up so much. It's not just for looks. Sure, you want that booty that just sticks out and is like attached to your back, but you also want your body to be able to move properly,
Absolutely.
right?
Functional, for sure.
So now let's do
All right, next one, we're talking about IT band syndrome.
Right.
So a lot of times people will get that pain along the side of your knee. The IT band comes all the way across and attaches there, and the rubbing causes that pain and inflammation.
Right.
So we're going to loosen up the lateral quad by going into a foam roll position. Step over. Yep. This is going to help guide you.
Okay.
So you're just going to basically pull yourself all the way from the hip down to the knee. When you feel those trigger points, there might be a certain area where it's a little more intense. Just go into an extension flexion, and you're basically gliding across that pressure and help release that.
Yeah. So you stay there for a little bit.
A little painful.
Hang out. Yeah.
But I guarantee doing this consistently, it's going to be less and less painful because your muscles are going to be much more pliable.
I have such a love-hate relationship with my foam roller now. I look at it and I'm like, fine, let's do this. Let's do it.
Get it over with.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it is a nice pain.
It's a nice pain. Well, speaking of nice pain, this is one of my favorites because calves, again, become very tight. You can end up with Achilles tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, which is terrible. It can last for a long time.
Absolutely.
Avoid it by releasing the calf. So you take the ball. This is just a lacrosse ball. You can use a tennis ball. It doesn't really matter.
Yep.
Put it right at the junction of your gastroc and your soleus. So right where that the large part of your calf meets the small part of your calf.
Do I have it in the right place there?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Pressure straight down. And now you're just going to extend and flex the ankle joint.
Yeah.
So that muscle is rubbing against the pressure. It's pretty painful.
It is.
But again, you're really releasing that area.
Yeah. Trust. Oh, it's so good, guys.
Pain.
Yeah, my calves have been very tight from a run on the weekend. You know, what I'm noticing at the gym, I'm noticing way more people doing mobility stretching before and after.
Absolutely.
Even the men that are doing the crazy deadlifting, 300 pounds, they are doing this, and that is so smart.
Absolutely. It allows you to do more, allows you to stay healthy, and the older you get, you know, your tissues and tendons become tighter, your mobility decreases. This allows you to enhance that, right?
This is perfect if you want to keep working out for life. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much for that.
You're welcome.